What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Josh Setledge from SetledgeStrength.com. I am the BJJ Strength Coach. I'm just going to break down another training session that I hit with my man Diego at Diego_Diablo145. If you guys watched the previous session that we did together, you guys will kind of know who Diego is already. But if you're new to this channel, Diego is one of my athletes that I've been working with for probably close to a year now. He's an MMA fighter out of the greater Sacramento area. He's a featherweight, and right now we're gearing up for his next fight, which is going to be at the end of March. We just started training camp, and so right now we're hitting about 2 sessions every week for about 60 minutes apiece. And I'm going to be breaking down kind of the goals of each training session, the exercises that we're doing, why we're selecting certain exercises, and how we're balancing his wrestling training, his MMA sparring, his cage work, his kickboxing training, his jiu-jitsu training, all balancing those things together and implementing some strength and conditioning training in there as well. One of the biggest things that we're working on with Diego is just maximizing his physical capabilities when it comes to what he's going to need to do in the cage. So he needs to be strong, he needs to be fast, he needs to be explosive, he needs to be conditioned, and also training camp for MMA fighters is rough. It's a hard process, and so we want to decrease his risk of injury as much as possible. So you'll see here that we're kind of kicking off a warm-up. We started with a 500-meter row. We're doing some PVC pass-throughs to kind of warm up the shoulders and things of that nature. We got the Mark Bell Slingshot hip circle on right now. You guys can pick one up for yourself at markbellslingshot.com. This thing's great because it's a great lower body tool that you could use for lower body warm-ups. You could use it to target different muscles in the hip flexors and in the glutes and things like that. And I just like to throw the hip circle on a bunch of different lower body warm-up exercises because you can just kind of enhance your warm-up a little bit. As you can see here, we're doing some bird dogs with the hip circle. We're hitting some 90-90 hip drills. I speak so highly of the 90-90 hip drill just because it's a great exercise for grapplers. It's a great exercise for MMA fighters, mostly because it focuses on improving and actively mobilizing internal and external hip rotation. Now we're kind of moving on to our main movement. So right now I have Diego running a condensed conjugate system that's mixed in with some triphasic training principles in there as well. So the conjugate system was originally designed and created in Eastern Bloc countries like Russia and Bulgaria, and then it was popularized in the West by powerlifting coach Louis Simmons, who is the founder and creator of Westside Barbell. And now we kind of take some principles from the conjugate method and we mix them in with the triphasic training method, which was popularized by Cal Dietz. And so today is a max effort lower body session. We're working up to a 3-rep max on a block pull. So Diego, he deadlifts maybe once a month probably, sometimes twice a month, but we have Diego deadlifting really heavy about once a month. And when we do these deadlifts, a lot of times they are shortened range of motion deadlifts when it's conventional, and then another time throughout the month we'll do a sumo deadlift. As you can see, we're mixing up some active rest exercises in here, which I talked about last week. When it comes to training athletes, and especially MMA fighters, we don't have a lot of time. We really only have 45, 60 minutes together twice a week, and so we really got to maximize everything that we're doing in each session. So you'll see that he's doing a lower body exercise as kind of like a main lift, and then he goes into a lower intensity, higher rep upper body exercise to maximize the amount of time that we have in the gym together. We're hitting the tempo split squats on the toes again. The reason why we're adding some long tempos on the way down is to help continue to strengthen the connective tissue, help continue to strengthen the stabilizing muscles all throughout his legs, his feet, and his ankles. Moving on to some dynamic effort upper body work. So we're doing some explosive push-ups, some medicine ball slams, active recovery exercises with the banded good mornings. You'll see that we get in a ton of work in 60 minutes, and it's important, like I said, to get in as much work as possible. That's going to help Diego not hinder his performance in any way, and really just make sure we're just maximizing the amount of high quality work, as I like to call it, that we can get in 60 minutes. This exercise right here is killer. It is a glute bridge leg curl on a rowing machine. So you'll see that Diego's hips are above the ground and he's curling his feet towards his butt, which is going to engage the glutes and the hamstrings quite a bit. He'll have to stabilize and brace his core, which will help with his general physical preparedness as well. Now we're just finishing up the session with a little bit of mobility work, doing a T-spine smash, which is awesome. Sometimes when you're wrestling a lot, or you're doing a lot of cage work, and you're getting stuck in that clinch position, your upper back can get really tight. And so what we want to do is we want to just apply some additional pressure on there. So that's why he has a plate on his chest. And we're doing some breathing drills to help kind of break up any tight muscles in the back, kind of improve his overhead mobility, and just improve his overall positioning. Next, we're attacking the ankles. This is a great mobilization that you can hit right before you squat. Sometimes you can do it right before you deadlift. I don't think it's necessary, but I try to do this before most of my squat sessions, especially if I'm doing high bar squats or front squats where I really need to get my hips down there, doing ass to grass type squats. And what this does is this improves your ability to drive your shin forward and improve your ankle mobility. And if you could drive your shin forward just a little bit, that'll create more room for you to drive your knees out and get your hips down below your knees. And it's also just going to help, especially if you are a runner or if you're someone that competes barefoot and you're driving off of your feet a lot. And Diego is definitely one of those people. He's bouncing on his feet constantly, throwing strikes, doing takedowns, pressing up against the cage, and all that good stuff. And that's the end of the session. We're just finishing up with some mobility here, and we're calling it a day. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you guys have more questions about how to get strong for jiu-jitsu, how to get strong for MMA and wrestling, head over to settled.strength.com. If you want a free 4-week strength program, just click the link in the description below, and I'd love to send that to you. Talk to you guys later. Peace.